Alright, what's going on guys, Turner here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a new video, and for the first time in a while, I'm happy to say some new van life content. Now, I haven't uploaded any van life content in a few months, and that's because I was in a transitional period where I was home for the holidays and simultaneously actually trying to sell my van. Now, it was my first van build, so I did a lot of things wrong, but from having no insulation in the van, to no overhead ceiling fan, which I now have right here, to the entirety of the frame of my last van rusting, it was a ticking time bomb for that thing to fall apart while I was driving. And so when I got back home for the holidays, I listed it on Facebook Marketplace for about $10,000, and within literally like 5 days, I bought this new van. So now having things like a battery, a sink, a real build on my hands, insulated walls finally, I am very excited to bring you guys my official upgrade of my 2021 Van Life Van Conversion Tour. Let's get into it. So this van right behind me is a 1997 15-passenger cargo van. Now, it being a 15-passenger van, that totally exceeds my last build, which my biggest complaint about that was the amount of length it was missing. I really had no room to navigate throughout the van. And so this upgrade has exactly what I want, which is an extra what seems like 8 feet of length. Now, I bought this fully converted van for about $5,000, and I had previously sold my last van for about $10,000. But with all that being said, the exterior is pretty normal for a passenger van. So furthermore, let's get right into the inside, which is definitely the most entertaining part. It is also so cold out here. Alright, so coming in through the side doors and having done no personal additions to this van yet, we can automatically see there is definitely a wood-themed interior going on. The last build was really more of a no-build conversion where I didn't actually do any woodworking other than the floors in order to create a home in my van. And so buying something with a sink that I think looks beautiful, while I'll definitely do a little bit to it, I think is a super awesome addition. And then the last thing about the side entrance is this little box we see right here. Now, I definitely think this is an interesting spot for this, but this is just storage space and a bench. And so that is a bit of an introduction to the inside of the van. And so without further ado, let's get inside. So now getting inside the van, the first thing that we are greeted by is the sink. Now currently there is a whole water system that is flowing from the top of the sink, of course, all the way over to the bottom of the bed. But these clip-on cupboards that come underneath the sink lead to said water tank. So this little tank right here goes all the way through the back of the bed. Right here is actually an industrial cooler. So this is actually an Ozark Trail cooler that was custom built into this frame. And so right here, you just open it up and you have yourself a industrial cooler. And also it's very well insulated, and so you don't actually have to plug it into anything. And that was definitely a problem in my last build. All of the power nearly was being used by my refrigerator, and that is definitely something I'm gracious to not have to worry about now. So from the sink to the cooler, we are now going to move a little bit further back into the van and talk about the bed. Alright, and so then entering from the back, you can actually see we have a pretty good sized bed. And also it is definitely raised up, meaning we have a bit of storage underneath, which is where the water tank comes in. And then you can see the wraparound shelving that I was mentioning earlier still comes around through the back. So it goes without saying that there is a ton of storage room in this new build. And comfortably enough, the bed is actually a queen size bed, which is definitely an upgrade from the twin size that I was dealing with last time. But so to make this quick, now that we get into the bottom of the bed, you can see how much storage we really have. Now, ideally, you would just plug a hose into this funnel, turn it on, and then watch the water go from the funnel's tube into the tank. So to say the least, it is a very easy method to get water into the van. And I'm super excited to, when I'm on the road, be able to store water in mass amounts rather than using bottles or just a hydro flask to have a couple ounces of water. Now we can have up to 10 gallons, which is super great. And now that it's winter, the water of course would be frozen because it is literally like 1 degree outside at the moment. But yeah, an awesome water tank for the sink in this new build. And then just to stress how happy I am with the size of this bed, it was pretty difficult for me and my girlfriend to sleep in a twin size bed in a super small van. And the width of this van is actually about 6 feet. I am 5'9", my girlfriend I think is 5'6" or 7. So the queen size bed is genuinely the perfect fit for the both of us in this van. And then, you know, these speakers, probably not the best, but it is what it is. A Ford in the 90s is not going to have, you know, subwoofer styled speakers. Now, coming through the front cabin, everything that is up top really is exactly what you would expect from a 90s Ford van. It's an old radio system, a pretty thin and hard wheel, but the unique and super awesome thing about this build is when you hop in the front, you are automatically greeted by a pretty big wooden box. So inside of here, once we open it, we are surprisingly greeted with a car battery rather than something like my personal Jackery power station. Now, this car battery is actually linked up to the internal battery in the engine. So at the top here, we are greeted with a color-coded fuse box. Now, everything this controls is the lights, the water flow, and then a cigarette lighter that is connected to the USB port. And then the battery we see at the floor is actually controlled by this little lever. Now, in order to charge the battery, all you do while the vehicle is running, you would pull this lever down. Now you see this battery is actually fully connected to the engine. And then when you're not driving, you will just push it up, and then it is fully sustainable on its own. So this lever really controls where you're getting energy from. And then there are a few extra uses to it, but those are definitely the main and most important ones. Now, the only other thing I could think about showing you guys is the fan and maybe a few other little Easter eggs that I found in here. All I have to do is just make my way back to you guys. All right, perfect. Here we are, we made it. Now, one thing that I was actually dreading building and cutting a hole in the roof of my van was a ventilation fan. All you need to do in order to work this fan is simply twist this knob right here, which will raise the cap on it on the roof, and then you just twist these dials back here to the setting you want your fan on. And it really is as easy as that, making hotter climates a lot easier in this van than my last build, simply because in the summer I just remember sitting in a pool of sweat in my van because I didn't have any way to make it cooler other than opening the windows. Now, however, I have a combination of less windows, insulation, and this ventilation fan, which is just a blessing to have in a new build. All right, and so that is the ventilation fan. However, while you guys are up here, I might as well include that I think I have some big plans for the roof. This is actually going to turn into a deck, which I am going to build when it is a lot warmer out. All right, so with all that being said, I definitely think we covered all of the bases for the official 2021 van tour. I'm definitely gonna do a lot to further upgrade the van, but again, just as is, this is the official tour of the bare bones structure of the conversion. So from an overall build standpoint, to just the amount of room that we have from our last van, it is definitely a huge upgrade going into 2021 with this van behind me. So I'm definitely excited to bring you more van conversion videos, more van life videos in general, and just overall some better content. And with all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and do all that jazz. My name is Ben Turner. You guys have been YouTube, and have a good one. Peace out.